90% concentrated power of will, 5% pleasure, 50% pain, 100% reason to remember the name. He doesn't need his name up in lights, he just wants to be heard, whether it's the beat of the mic. He feels so unlike everybody else, alone, in spite of the fact that some people still think that they know. But no, he knows the code. It's not about the salary, it's all about reality and making some noise, making a story, making sure his click stays up. That means when he puts it down, Todd's picking it up. Let's go.
Who the hell is he anyway? He never really talks much, never concerned with status, but still leaving him starstruck. Humble through opportunities given despite the fact that many misjudge him cause he makes a living from writing raps. Put it together himself, got a picture connects, never asking for someone's help or to get some respect. He's only focused on what he wrote, his will is beyond reach, and now it all unfolds, the skill of an artist.
This is 20% skill, 80% fear, be 100% clear, cause Ryu was ill. Who would've thought he'd be the one that set the West in flames? And I heard him wreck it with the crystal method, name of the game. Came back, dropped Megadeth, took him to church. I like Bleach, man. Ryu had the stupidest verse, this dude is the truth. Now
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Bill Huinter Arena in Edmonton, Alberta. We're just getting set up for this Sunday morning game with the Canadians United Sport and Cycle taking on Maple Leaf Athletic Club Lenbeth Weaving Tile. We pause for the national anthem. Your Canadian Athletic Club United Sport Cycle Canadians are running a 5-game win streak. Coach came in this morning with an inch and a half left there, keeping his side of the bet for the boys. On the other side, we got the Maple Leafs. They have not won in their last 5, looking for a good one here. Beat on the ice. And the puck's dropped. Here we go. And Bill Huinter. Puck goes into the Leafs zone. Disrupted. Near side by, what's that? Oh, Zahara. Shot from the point, Frostad looking for that top post. Just whistles out and it's bumped out and back into the Canadian zone. Max Frostad with the puck. Near side, Enriquez Gomez moves that up to Burnett. Chips it in and goes to Chase in the Leafs zone. First one there is a hair for the Canadians. Back to the line for Frostad. He couldn't keep it at the line. It's going to bounce back. And our starting goaltender for the Canadians, Guy Webster, sets it up towards defense. Pass out in front. Manages to get on the stick of Jacob Hoare. Pass for Enriquez Gomez, right side, looking for Thorvaldson. That bounces past off the boards. Enriquez Gomez keeps it in the zone. Now the Leafs are going to get it back. Here they come across center, up the right side, handling the puck. Number 19, Smith, who puts that into the Canadian zone. Now Canadians turn it up the ice. Yamia coming up the right side. There's a high shot, hits a stick, and stop. Coming off the end boards. We're going to battle for it in that far corner. Puck still in the Leafs zone. Now scrape it up, coming up the far side. Leafs number 10. Brinkman loses it in the high slot. Canadians take over. Left side, Oliver West chips that in. Goes back to his defensive spot at the right point. Canadians battling for it below the MLAC goal. Chipped over to the near side. Pull off the boards. It's West with the shot in front. Kicked away and into the near corner. Puck comes back to the line. That's held in by West. Sends it deep. Forwards going for a change. Holding it in the zone is Taylor. He was out. The Leafs going to come out the ice with it. Coming into the Canadian zone. Puck dropped off. Comes in the high slot. It's coughed up going to the far corner. Young picks that up for the Canadians. Comes up the left side. Takes it deep. Size pass. Oh, that's cut down in the slot and tipped out to the neutral zone. Turcotte's going to take that, put that high into the zone off the glass, and the Leafs get a chance to break out. Stretch pass up to number 21, Freeborn. He chases it in the Canadian zone. Freeborn with a chance, comes through the slot, and that's chipped off his stick. Young's going to pick that up for the Canadians. Centering pass to Turcotte. Turcotte leaves that for Taylor. He's checked off the puck. Turcotte comes back, puts it out to center. Young goes to the right side to Schufelt, and his stick chips it into the spectator netting, and we'll get a stop with 17:04 left in the first period. Face off near side, just outside of the Leafs zone. Battle for it, Leafs on the near boards. Comes loose, now chipped out to center. Frostad gets that, puts it back into the Leafs zone. Rolls behind the net, comes back to the near corner. Bouchard goes in, tries to pump it out, comes back to the line. Frostad takes a backhand shot on goal, and it's steered over to the near board, or the far boards. Tipped up the ice. Frostad gets it back in the Canadian zone. He has a man on him, being pressured there by number 14. Zivanov. Puck goes into the zone. Bouchard goes to the left side. That's broken up by the Leafs team. And the puck sent out to center. Rolls back into the Canadian zone where Frostad takes it. Goes to Morris on the far side. Thrown up the ice to Heck. Bounces off his stick, and the Leafs are going to put that back into the Canadian zone. However, icing will be the call as the defenseman was on the wrong side of center. Play stopped, 16-14 left in the first period. No score on the board yet. Face off, far side in the Leaf zone. Canadians win it. They pin it against the boards in the Leaf zone. Leafs loosen it up. West keeps it in at the line. Shovels it towards the net. That's kicked down. And the Leafs goaltender gets that under the pads and covers that up. Belenek getting the stop for the Leafs with 16:01 left in the first period. Face off, won by the Leafs. They're going to march it out of their own zone. Put it off the near boards, rolls into the corner of the Canadian zone. And icing called here. And we'll return the face off back to the Leafs zone. 15:54 left in the first period. Face off near side in the Leafs zone. Burnett. Nope, that was Burnett. That was Sahara taking the face off. One shot by West. Deflected into the far boards. After that save by Belenek. Comes into the near side. Sahara picks up the puck, shovels it up to Enriquez Gomez. Enriquez Gomez takes that into the corner. He's outmanned as the Leafs put 3 men on him. Puck turned around in the neutral zone, dumped back into the Leafs zone. Leafs with it. Near side, up to Kupta. Kupta tips that into the Canadian zone, goes to Chase. First one there, Turcotte shovels it back. Turcotte knocks it down, throws it into the slot, handled on the backside by Fank. Fank turns around, fires it towards the net, hits the leg, goes over to the near corner. Turcotte turns that up the ice. Yamniak picks it up, centering pass to Thorvaldson. Thorvaldson, drop pass for Horror. Horror with the shot. Whoa, and Bellineg makes the save for the Leafs. Stopping play with 14:54 left in the first period. Great save there by Grace Bellineg for the Leafs. Will have the face-off far side in the Leafs zone. Leafs win the face-off. They come through center with it. Canadians get it back in their own zone. Turcotte gets across center and dumps that deep in the Leafs zone. First one on it. Hora looking backside for Thorwaldson. Just off the mark. Puck on the near boards. Thorwaldson keeps in the zone. There's a shot by Hora high on Bellineg, and Bellineg will make that save. Puck in the Maple Leafs zone. Maple Leafs pick it up on the far side. They're going to break out, get across center now. Makes the inside move just a little too far, and Webster sends it over to the near boards. Schufelt wins that board battle up to Taylor. Taylor to Dollywall. Dollywall gives it back to Taylor. Taylor comes up the right side, gets into the zone. He's check trying to center it. Maple Leafs have that coming across the red line. Jam it into the Canadian zone. Sivavarjan knocked down. Puck loose in the near corner there. Taylor battling for it for the Canadians against Sundby. Comes out to the point. Leafs put that against the boards. It's going to ring around the boards to the far side. Picked up by number 21, Freeborn. Back to the point. Down to Freeborn again. Freeborn has that. Being checked against the boards by Morris. Tipped in front. Rolls to the near corner. Schufelt off the board. Sends that down the ice. It's going to end up being an icing call. And we'll reset back in the Canadian zone with 13:07 left in the first period. Canadians win the draw in their own zone. Frostad with it, sends it over to Morris. Morris absorbs that in the boards, looking for help. Richard comes in for the Canadians, loosens it up, centering pass to Frostad. It skips past him, comes up to center. Picked up by number 17, Anderson. Kicks it up. Well, that's going to be turned over in the zone. Frostad over to Young. Young takes a hit. Maple Leafs have the puck. Number 9. Leading the charge, Mitchell up the far side, trying to drive the net. That's chipped through the slot, comes over to the near side. Connor Young's going to pick up that puck. I believe it's Connor Young. Could be Sharky. Maybe it is Sharky. Looking at the socks. I'll check that at the intermission, folks, or next whistle. Shot saved by Bellineg, and it goes into the far corner. Teams battling for it. Comes loose. Enriquez Gomez picks that up behind the net. Pass, that's just off the stick. And Zahar couldn't quite. Nope, that's not. There's Burnett who couldn't quite put it in. Canadians from their own zone throw it out to center. Ends up all the way down the ice. Icing called with 11:42 left in the first period. Face-off won by the Leafs. Shot from the point right onto Webster. He steers that into the near corner. Fang picks up the rebound. Smith comes over to take over into the slot. That is chipped just to the far side. Enriquez Gomez had number 13 tied up in front of the net. Puck comes loose. Up the ice it goes. Here's Burnett carrying up the left side for the Canadians. Rubbed out into the corner. Lucas Gomez follows it up. Centering pass. Comes up their near side. Battle for it at the corner. Leafs win the board battle. They bring it up the ice. Oh, shot onto Webster. And Webster quickly moves to his glove side, scoops it up off the ice, and stops play with 10:50 left in the first period. Team leading scorer, Thorvaldson, ready to take the face-off against number 16, Sundell. Suddenly, a shot right from point. Just off the glove of Webster and into the back of the net. Webster got a good piece of that, not the whole thing. And the Leafs open up the scoring with 10:45 left in the first period. That shot from the point, just getting past the Canadiens goaltender. Puck now down in the Leaf zone. It's jammed against the board, or against the pipes. So they're going to blow it dead with 10:30 left in the first. Face off far side in the Leaf zone. Canadiens win it. Ulrich puts it up the boards. I think that was for Horn. Shot by Thorvaldson. Rips just wide. Kept him on the right side by Turcotte. Sent down low for Thorvaldson. Over to Yamiuk. Yamiuk down to Thorvaldson. Front, he was looking for a Horn. He didn't get the pass he wanted. Intercepted by Belinek. Throw it the stop with 10:15 left in the first period. Face off, won by the Canadiens in the offensive zone. Leafs get it back on the boards though. That's turnaround at center. Turcotte gets it again. Sweeps it back to the Leaf zone where they pick it up in their own zone. Centering pass up to number 10. Now to the near side to 19. There's a high shot. Rises on him. Comes over to the near side. Schufelt jams it against the boards. Helped by Taylor. Comes loose to Turcotte. Team takes over. There's a shot. Great block there by Ulrich. Handed off to the Canadiens. Left winger now comes up to Schufelt. Schufelt off the boards and deep into the Leaf zone. Picked up by number 17, Anderson. Battle for it behind that net. Now Grace is going to reach out and stop play with 9:35 left in the first period. Draw near side in the Leaf zone. Canadiens win it. A shot from Frostad off the blocker by Belinek over to the near corner, or the far corner. Canadiens pick up the rebound. Contested by the Leafs. Jammed against the boards. Leafs trying to break out. That's chipped down. Comes back to the point. There's a shot by Morris. Tipped out in front. Down low. And we'll have to take a look at the action here as Belinek pulls that off the right pad. The shot on the left. She gets in the glove and hangs on for the whistle with a 9:12 left in the first period. Canadiens hunting, but the Leafs goaltender standing strong. Right now, the Leafs are way ahead in shots, 11-3, but trail on the scoreboard, 1-0. Face off in the Leafs zone. Canadiens win it. Pass back to the slot, picked off by the Leafs. Here's the chance for number 19. Tried to center that. That comes off his skate. Picked up by Richard. Richard, left side for Young. Drop pass for number 11, Heck. And it comes back out to center. Morris gets that, dumps that into the opposite corner. Leafs get that out to center. Picked up by Smith. Oh, shot by Smith. Kicked over to the near side. Kicked up, puts that right into the middle again. Smith receives the pass. From Kukta back to Smith, chipped up the boards. Young, or no wait, that is Sharkey. Puts that out to center. I'm pretty sure it's Sharkey. Comes out in front. Sharkey clears that away. He's going to move that up the ice. Tried to dance through two players. Comes loose to Richard, who dumps that into the Leafs zone. Leafs quickly in transition. Space coming up the near side. And Kukta just takes a shot from the blue line, kicked aside by Webster. Eagle with the puck, gets it over to West. West, centering pass, that hits the body, goes up the far side. Enriquez Gomez knocks the puck down, gets it back for the Canadians in the Leafs zone, centering pass. Oh, and that's broken up by the Leafs. Still battling for it. Leafs get it out to center now. Here they come up the near side. I think we got a offside call here. It will reset. Just outside the Canadian zone. 7:40 left in your first period. Leafs in front of the Canadians, 1-0. Leafs winless in their last 5. They're hunting to break that terrible streak. Canadians on the exact opposite end. They're riding in a 5-game win streak. Right now, the Leafs are in front, 1-0. Puck goes into that far corner. Eagle picks it up in the Canadian zone. He's going to rush it out. Now centering pass up to Enriquez Gomez. Tries to dig down. Lost control of the puck, and it's steered behind the Leafs net. Team's battling for it there. Comes loose. Richard for Enriquez Gomez. Sorry, that's Zahara for Enriquez Gomez. Zahara picks up the puck again. Leaves it in the corner. Chip back to Zahara. He gets it back to West. West with it. Puts it on the boards. Leafs intercept that and send it out to center. Rolls into the Canadian zone where Eagle picks it up. Goes over to West, who chips that, and he's going to go for a change. Penny picks it up for the Leafs, puts it up the near boards. That's cut off by the Canadians. Centering pass by Yanni Backhardt. Thorvaldson just missing that far post. Belinek got a piece of that. There's a shot from the point by Ulrich. Too high. Comes out of the corner, rolls back to the point. Put down low by Turcotte. Intercepted by the Leafs. Leafs breaking out of their own zone. Here they come across center. Put it deep. Right on goal. Webster steers that in the near side. Turcotte puts it up the boards for Yamniak. Yamniak jumps out to center with it. Followed up by Thorvaldson. Thorvaldson back to Yamniak. Yamniak had a shot. And his stick lifted just to the last second. Great second effort by the Leafs to break up that excellent chance in the slot. Puck comes back to the point. Ulrich goes up to the half courts. He wanted to get it down to Thorvaldson. The Leafs get a piece of it, throw it down the ice, and we have an icing call with 5:50 left in the first period. Shots on goal, 13-4 in favor of the Canadians. They're going to take the face off in the offensive zone, far side of the Leafs side of ice. Puck's dropped. Leafs win it. They take it into the corner. Canadians get it back. Here's a chance. Backhand low. Belinek. And it looks like the Canadians just were able to jam it home. Not sure if that goal went 5-hole off the paddle and underneath the blocker, but the Canadians on the board with 5:43 left in the first period, tying up the game at 1 with that extra effort in front. Across the Cashman volleyball, evening up the score in the game. Puck's dropped. Leafs win the face-off. They take the puck in their own zone. Put up the far boards. It rolls into the Canadian zone. Picked up behind the net by Frostad. He wheels over to the near side. Centering pass for Thorvaldson. Chips that out to center. Leafs get a piece of it. They throw it back right on to the goal of Webster. Steers that into the near corner. Suddenly keeps that in the zone. Morris gets back for the Canadians. Past the near side for Frostad. Frostad up the boards. Gets it to Yamniak. Yamniak fights off a check. Gets the puck to Hoare. Hoare left side for Morris. Throws that up to Thorvaldson, who gets the chip on, and puck goes into the Leafs zone. Battle for it behind the Leafs net. Canadians have it. Sharp angle. Nope, it's past the near side. High shot by Hoare, and that's going to hit the glass and roll out of the zone. Morris has to hustle back for it. takes that down in the corner. Frostad picks up the puck. Webster off to the bench as Canadians going to be on the power play here as Mitchell took down Morris behind the net, and Mitchell's going to spend 2 minutes in the box. .442 left in the first period. We got our first power play of the game. The Canadians on the power play. And the face-off in the Leafs zone. Leafs win the draw. They send the puck screaming down the ice. Webster sets it up for Eagle. Eagle has Smith trailing him. Eagle waits patiently for the breakout. He wheels it up the far side. Pass over to West. West takes it on the near side. Had Dollywall in front, can get it to him. Eagle from the point. There's a shot. And Balanek gets the stop. Once again, this time 4:19 left in the first period. Face off near side in the Leaf zone. Puck up the near boards. Here's Eagle with it. To Enriquez Gomez. Eagle left side. Shot from the point. That is wide of the mark. Enriquez Gomez picks up the rebound. Shifts it down low. Put out in front. That hits the stick. It's going to bounce over to the near boards. West picks it up. Walks the blue line. Pass back to Eagle. Eagle with space. Low shot on the Balalega. Oh, and she was quick on that one to grab the rebound as Enriquez Gomez was screaming up the right wing straight for the goal. Leafs able to escape once more. There's 1:14 left in their penalty. 3:55 left in the first period. Face off near side in the Leafs zone. Thorvaldson taking the draw. Leafs win it. Can't get out of the zone though. Frostad holds it in at the line. Shifts that down low for, I think, Yamniak. Goes over to Thorvaldson. Back to the point for Morris. Morris, his shot blocked. Leafs get it. Morris keeps it in the zone. Hoare over to Thorvaldson. Pass back to Hoare. Now back to the point. Morris, here's right side. Walking it down. Frostad back to Hoare. Looking for Thorvaldson. And it hops away from his stick. Leafs do a great job breaking up the backdoor play. Canadians still have it in the zone. There's a shot from the high point by Thorvaldson. That is blocked. He gets the puck back, though. Hoare fires one right at the Leafs goal. Comes down low. And Balanek is going to hang on. They get away. So with 3:15 left in the first period. 34 seconds left in the Canadians' power play. Canadians, let's see here, are 15 for 78. Nope, other way. 7 for 43 before the start of this game. They win the face-off in the zone. Keep it in at the point. Morris sends that into the corner for Hoare to pick up. Hoare jumps it back to Morris. Morris back to Hoare. Absorbs check. Leafs get it. Can't get it out past Morris. Morris holds that left point in front for Hoare. Over to Thorvaldson. Frostad's going to walk it in. Frostad right into the midsection of Balanek, who hangs on for the whistle with 2:48 left in the first period. Frostad with a great move right at the line, walking it down to that high slot. Picks the center mass, the goalie making the save with 2:48 left in the first. 7 seconds left in the Canadians' power play. Face off near side in the Leaf zone. Frostad with a shot from the point. And Balanek is able to see that one. Covers up any chance of a rebound. And will reach that same spot with 2:43 left in the first. Leafs win the face-off. They're going to put that down the ice. Morris knocked it down with a high stick, so we'll have a face-off in the neutral zone here, just outside of the Canadians' side of the ice. 2:41 left in the first period. We're tied at 1. Face-off won by the Leafs. They put it into the Canadian zone. Frostad with it. Tried to move it quickly out to Heck. That pass was intercepted. Heck goes back on the forecheck, though. Gets it up to Richard. Puck moved around the far corner. Leafs grab it. Leafs centering pass. That's knocked down by Morris. Sharkey picks it up, turns around in the zone. Pass, here's a chance, and then Heck puts it over on the far side above the glove and into the back of the net, and the Canadians take the lead with 2:14 left in the first period. All on the forecheck of Heck. Pass from inside the Canadian zone. It's tipped into the Leaf zone. Leafs handle it, but Heck wouldn't give up on the play. He gets the puck back in the zone over to Richard, ends up back on Heck's stick, who snoops that above the blocker of the Leafs goaltender and into the back of the net. 2-1 Canadians. Off the draw. Canadians put that in the Leaf zone offside, so we're going to reset with 2:08 left in the first period. Canadians win the draw. Ulrich dumps that deep into the Leaf zone. Now in front. Oh, what a chance. The Leafs were slow playing it. The Canadians walked in slow, and then a quick attack. Quick shots on net. Leafs surviving that one. They'll come back the other way. Shot on Webster. He steers that over the far side. Brinkman centering pass. Connected. Webster got a good save on that. Canadians end up icing the puck at the end of the play here, stopping the clock with 1:42 left in the first period. We'll have the face-off far side in the Canadian zone. Great chance there by Brinkman. Went right in front there. Leafs almost tied it up quickly after giving one up on the... Oh, that was even strength, not on the power. Heck, the goal scorer, puts it down low for Ulrich. He lets it pass over. Here's Sharkey. Couldn't contain it. Freeborn, takes a shot. It's wide of the mark. Ulrich gets it back on the near side. Was looking for Sharkey. Sharkey was not ready for it. The puck goes down the ice. Icing called with 1:18 left in the first period. Leafs were in a close one last night. They were down, I think, 5-0 or 5-1 at one point against Beaumont, but battled back with 5 goals. Eventually losing 8-5, though. They're looking to do a little better today against the Canadians. Canadians right now are up 2-1 on the Leafs as the puck comes back into the Canadian zone. Eagle, right side to West. West flips that up high. It's going to skip past Sharkey into the Leaf zone. Popped up. Here's Heck. And shot, and Belinek is going to grab that one out of the air. Hanging on with 55 seconds left in the first period. Canadians, they had a good outing last night against Sherwood Park. Controlled the game for most of it. A few 2-on-1s, 2-on-0s that ended up in the back of the net. But still, their 5th straight win, a 5-3 vanquish. Oh, there's a quick shot by Smith. He got in almost alone against Webster. Just put it wide. Again, the Canadians beating Sherwood Park last night 5-3 for their 5th straight win. Leafs have the puck in their own zone. That comes out to center. Turned around. Eagle shovels that back into the Leaf zone. Leafs moving behind their own net. Forecheck by Zahara slows them up, but the Leafs still get out to center with it. Coming in the zone, number 16, Sunley. Here's Smith, up the near side, throw that in front. Nobody there for the Leafs, and Dollywell's going to throw that back. Held in by the Leafs. Canadians, second attempt though, throws it down the ice. And the buzzer's going to go here on the first period. We're going to end the period with shots on goal, 20-6 in favor of the Canadians. 2-1 is the score on the board. And the Leafs will head into their dressing room down 1. We'll take a break here, folks, and let our sponsors have a word. Hello, folks. Welcome back to Bill Huinter Arena in Edmonton, Alberta. You're tuning in for the start of the second period. Canadian Athletic Club, wearing the red jerseys today, are up 2-1 on Maple Leafs, wearing the white jerseys. Canadians, sponsored by United Sport and Cycle. Leafs, sponsored by Lenbeth, Weeping Tile. We value all our sponsors, especially the ones you saw presented during our intermission. We're started on the second period here. Puck goes into the Canadian zone. Comes into the near corner, centering pass. That goes through everyone. It's going to roll back to the Leafs side. Leafs, Samsoniuk moves that up the boards to the near side. Canadians cut that off. Brinkman comes back, throws it behind the net, goes to chase it, put it in front by Burnett. Knocked down by Enriquez Gomez. Over for Zahara. He puts that back to the point for Eagle. Eagle, far side. Here's a shot by West right on the pads, and Belinek puts that over the near side. Gomez gets the rebound. There's a shot by Eagle off the gloss of Belinek. Puck moved over to the near side. Brinkman's going to get that back for the Leafs. Passes it over to Samsoniuk, who lets that pass by him. A shot from the point by the Canadians. Morris, steered aside by Belinek. Knocked down at the line there by Morris. Into the high slide. Here's Enriquez Gomez. Dances through and lost control just at the last second. He was checked, trying to drive that slot. Morris turns, fires in front. Zahara with the tip. And that is tipped to the far corner, just wide. Put back to the point. Here's a chance for Frostad. That shot low, kicked away by Belinek. Enriquez Gomez puts it down low. Canadians with some good zone time here. Here's a chance. Back towards Zahara. And that is just off the mark. Had to come off the heel of his stick, or else that would have been into the back of the net, missing by mere inches. Stretch pass. Tipped back and into the Leafs zone. Leafs regain possession. Dublinetsky puts that to the left side to McQuestion. McQuestion shovels that down the ice. Put out in front. Webster tried to play the puck. And it goes through the crease. Cleared up the ice by the Canadians. Thorvaldson. It's going to bounce off the boards. Get across the goal line. And icing called with 17:53 left in the second period. Face off near slide in the Canadian zone. Canadians win it, tick behind their own net, passing the near side. Whoa. Ulrich putting up his hands. The forward caught that at the last second. It's the Leafs forward that looks like he's being escorted into the box. Number 9, Mitchell, I believe. It's gonna, nope, that's 19, that's Smith. Smith into the box for goalie interference. 2 and a penalty called with 17:48 left in the second period. Webster looks a little bruised, but I think he's gonna shake it off. He's checking the head a little. And he's good to go. Face-off will be down in the Leafs zone. Canadians on the power play with 17:48 left in the second period. Canadians with the face-off. They have it at the point. Frostad near side for Morris. Morris is going to switch with Hoare. Hoare takes that up high. Over to Morris. Morris up high now. There's a shot from the point. Tipped in front by Yamniak. He picks up the rebound. Over to Hoare. Back to Yamniak. Yamniak comes in. Here's Frostad, he was sneaking down. He decides to hang on to the puck. Pass over to the near side, looking for Horror. Yamniak picks that up. Point blank shot, steered aside by Balanek. Back to the point. Here's Frostad, now to Morris. Morris, near side, puts that down low for Yamniak. Yamniak over to Horror. Horror hangs onto it. And front foot Thorvaldson puts it into the back of the net. That is bad right in front of the crease. And Thorvaldson just has to tap it home. And the Canadians score on the power play to take a 3-1 lead with 17:04 left in the second period. A great dish just off the goal line, comes right across the crease. Thorvaldson picks that up, puts it into the back of the net. 3-1 Canadians. Shots on goal, 25-26 in favor of the Canadians as they go right back on the attack. Dhaliwal knocks that down into the corner. Leafs pick it up, use the boards to get it out. Put out by Freeborn. Centering pass up to Mitchell. Mitchell ventures off to the left. His first shot's blocked. Throws that in front. That is blocked. Freeborn couldn't get the shot off. Turned around. Fired into traffic by number 8, Sid Silawas. Oh. Sind Zilos. Cool. I didn't practice that one before the game. Canadians in transition. Richard steps across, feeds it back to Dhaliwal, but the whistle goes on the offside call. 16-24 left in your second period. And the Canadians in front by 2. They're up 3-1 on the Leafs. Richard wins the face-off for the Canadians, gets it back to Ulrich. Ulrich over to Turcotte. Turcotte puts that deep, using the boards, comes over to the near side. Heck steals it back for the Canadians, in front for Richard. Richard knocked down, trying to drive the net. And Balanek's going to smother that one up with 16-10 left in the second period. Face off near side in the Leaf zone. Richard wins another one. Over to Heck. Heck fires it in traffic. It bounces within the near side. He goes to pick it up. Feeds it out in front. That is kicked back to the near corner. Toblinitsky puts it around to the far side. Leafs breaking out of their own zone. Sharkey knocks it down. Number 2, Feng picks that up. Comes up the right side. Tried to go left side to Kupta, just out of his reach. Thrown out in front. Centering pass. Couldn't get the shot off. Now it comes loose. Heck comes away with it. Finn Heck for the Canadians. Comes across center. Feeds it back against the grain. That's knocked down by Kupta. And Feng feeds that out to center. Turned over. And Turcotte has that. Off the boards. Up to Heck. Heck. Centering pass for Richard. Comes back. Heck keeps it in the zone. Now the Leafs going to spin that out to center. Picked up by Eagle. Nope, that's Ulrich. Ulrich puts that off the boards in the Leaf zone. Leafs put it right back out to center. Trying to drive the lane. Here comes number 6. Lindstrom couldn't get the shot off. Comes over to the near boards. Down low. Sharkey gets it back for the Canadians. Feeds it to the near side. Sahara throws that up the boards. Leafs keep it in the zone. Comes into center. That is turned away by Turcotte. Enriquez Gomez spins it back to Zahara. Zahara into the zone. Comes to his backhand. Forehand. Rips that, and that is just off the mark. And he puts that out of play. Where it's 14:46 left in the second period. Canadians grab the puck back in the Leafs zone. Leafs moving up the near side. Zahara keeps it right where he wants. Over to Enriquez Gomez. That pass in front blocked. Ooh, Zahara getting in it with Penny. Shot from the point right on to Belenig. She'll hang on there for the whistle with 14:24 left in the second period. Draw will be near side in the Leaf zone. Canadians win it. Kept in, sent down low. Four with it. Had the puck chopped off his stick. Oh, throw it up in the middle. Yamniak at it. And he was hit just taking the shot, so it goes wide to the far side. Smith with it for the Leafs. Throws it up the boards to Fang. Fang comes up the right side into the Canadian zone. Stopped at the line by the D, but they keep it inside the Canadian zone. Now they go to the far side. Chip back, and it's going to be received by the Canadians off the boards. Kept in by the Leafs, number 17. Thorvaldson eventually retrieves it. Picked up at center by Morris, and the Canadians going to just put that deep in the Leafs zone. Leafs coming to the near side. Smith goes back to the left side. Wanted to get it at Kupta. That pass was errant. It's going to end up being called icing with 13:30 left in the second period. Face off, near side in the Leafs zone. Leafs win it. Put to the far side. Mitchell has it for the Leafs. Coming across center. Puts that deep into the Canadian zone. Eagle back to play. Ships it into the corner. Leafs get it back. Driving towards the lane. Leafs. There's a poke check by Webster. Puck comes loose in the slot. The Canadians going to clear it away. Heck puts that up the near side. Spin against the ball. Now it's sent into the Canadian zone. Webster sets it up for Eagle. Eagle spins off a check. Sends it to the far side for Schufelt. Schufelt receives it. Centering pass. That's knocked down. Eagle picks up the loose puck. Eagle comes into the zone. Low shot, just missing that far side. Zitzalowski tries to use the boards to put it out into center. It ends up going out of play. We got to stop with 12:39 left in the second period. Face-off will be near side in the Leafs zone. Richard taking the draw against Fang. Fang wins it, gets it over to Topolnitsky. Canadians get it back on the far side. Freestad feeds that in front. That's tipped down low and wide of the net. Peck absorbs the check. Vinstra puts that to the first side. Held in by Frostad at the Canadians. He takes the pass over the right side. Morris with a shot in front. Battling for it was Richard. Good save by Balanek. Feng clears it away for the Leafs. Vinstra puts that into the Canadian zone. Frostad picks it up off the board. Centering pass off the skate of Richard. Puck put back into the Canadian zone. Morris with it. Pass to the near side. Canadians putting it off the boards. Can't get it out of the zone, though. Now it comes out to center. Leafs get it back. Here they come up the right side. Fang coming into the zone. Drop pass back for 6. Now over to 12. Topolowski gets the shot right on to Webster. And we'll get a stop in play with 11:38 left in the second period. Leafs opened up the scoring in the first period, but it's been all Canadians since, and the Canadians are on pace for 2 goals a period. They scored 1 earlier in the second. There's a shot from the point, off the post by the Leafs, and it stays out. Here comes Enriquez Gomez. He puts the puck off the boards, deep into the Leafs zone. Leafs there first, move it up the near side. Kept in by Ulrich. Over to Enriquez Gomez, heading towards the net. He couldn't keep control. The puck just rolled right off. Shot by Ulrich in front. It's jammed away, and here the Canadians on the goal line, in the crease, battling in front, put it behind the Maple Leafs goaltender, and they're up 4-1 with 11:08 left in the second period. On the doorstep. Jackson, nope, that was Burnett. It was Evan Burnett who puts it into the back of the net shot originally came from, I believe, Ulrich on the near side. And we had Burnett and definitely another player in front. Who was it? Just battling for it. Oh. Can't get my replay camera to go. Let's back this up. Come on. Oh, it's Enriquez Gomez battling in front just as hard as Burnett. Enriquez Gomez should get the helper on that. Burnett looks like he's going to claim the goal on that one. Uh-oh. My mouse is lost. I can't get it back to the screen I want. Oh, this is so weird. Play's going on, folks. I only have the replay camera on. Oh my gosh. This is so weird. Okay, now I think I got it. There we go. Back to live play. Sorry, folks. Puck in the leave zone. Puck in the Canadian zone. Dumped in there by the Leafs. Comes out high. Leafs. So it looks like the Canadians are going to end up in the box here. Tripping penalty being issued to number 16, Jackson Turcotte of the Canadians. And the Leafs will be on the power play with 10:17 left in the second period. 4-1 for the Canadians after that recent goal. Shots on goal 30-8 in favor of the Canadians. Since the Leafs are working on the power play. There's a high shot, comes off the back glass, cleared away by the Canadians West. He takes that into the corner. Leafs jam him up, get the puck back. It's back to the left point. Walked in that shot, blocked. Battle for it. Webster chips that. Got the poke on it, and it's chipped wide. Canadians get a hold of the puck, send it down the ice. In his own zone, number 17, Anderson, moves the puck out. That's turned over. Here's a chance for Schufeld, and Schufeld puts that into the back of the net. Going blocker side. That was a tough one for Melanek. Couldn't set up as the turnover was very quick. Followed up by a monstrously quick shot by Logan Schufeld, and it's 5-1 for the Canadians with 9:38 left in the second period. The Leafs still on the power play for another minute 22. Schufeld looking for another one. He steals the puck back in the offensive zone again. Now he takes it into the corner. Out-muscled by McQuestion. Pardon me, I know his name. Coming up the right side. Leafs into the Canadian zone. Taking it down low. Number 16, Sundley. Put back to the point to number 11. Right side, there's a shot. Webster kicks that away, and the Canadians throw that to the far boards. Comes centering pass. That's broken up by the Canadians. Leafs keep it in the zone. Tipped in front. Webster got a glove on it. Leafs cycle behind the net trying to reset. Canadians throw that out to center. Now comes to the right side. Dumped deep by Kupta. Offside. Delayed offside indicated by the refs. The Canadians have some time to get this puck out. Frostad's going to dump it down the ice. 15 seconds left in the Leafs' man advantage as they pick up the puck in their own zone. Stretch pass up to Freeborn. He chips that into the Canadian zone and goes for a change. Canadians have that on their own side. Eagle is going to put that down the ice. Contacted by high stick just as Turcotte came out of the box for the Canadians. So we're going to reset the neutral zone just outside of the Leafs side with 8:14 left in the second period. Leafs win the faceoff. They take it in their own zone. Put up the boards. Thorvaldson cuts it off. Thorvaldson looking for Yamniak. Bounces off a stick. Oh, there's a shot by West coming in from the point. He sneaked in. Puck comes all the way back into the Canadian zone. Here's Eagle trying to load it up. Held in by the Leafs at the point. That shot blocked near the line. Sent down low. Picked up by Eagle. Eagle throws it off the boards for West. West picks it up. Starts the breakout. Loses control of the puck in the neutral zone. Leafs come back into the Canadian side of the ice on the right side. Centering pass. That's broken up by West. Puck down low. Now it comes loose again for Yamniak. Yamniak centering pass. Looking for Hoare. Hoare gets it into the zone. Jacob Hoare coming up the near side. Takes that into the corner. Leaves the puck for Yamniak. Yamniak leaves that for Thorvaldson. Thorvaldson looking for Frostad. That's chipped out to the neutral zone. Here's Morris with it. Puts up the boards for Thorvaldson and puts that deep into the Leaf zone. Belinek sets that up for Anderson. His pass knocked down. Anderson gets it back, though. He's going to throw it up the near side. Canadians Morris puts that back in the Leaf zone. Brinkman, stretch pass, gets it up to Zivanov. Zivanov, handled against the boards. Canadians have it. Quickly down the ice comes Max Frostad. He couldn't split the D. Puck goes to the far boards in the Leaf zone. Leafs Anderson picks it up again, coming through center, rushing the puck up the ice into the Canadian zone. Pass to the right side to Veenstra. Veenstra shot, sharp angle, knocked down, comes over the near side. Canadians bounce it out to center. Here's Burnett, put it into the Leafs zone. Leafs number 12. Topolinitsky puts that up the ice, and it's end up icing call with 6:14 left in the second period. 31-12, shots in favor of the Canadians, as they're doing better than 2 goals a period at the moment. Up 5-1 on the Leafs. Canadians keep the puck in the Leafs zone, sends it to the far side. Picked up by number 11, McQuestion. That shot from center, wide, or by the Canadians, wide of the Leafs net. Taylor on the forecheck gets the puck back. Here's Taylor. Throws that in front of the crease. Backhand. Another chance for Schufelt. 1-2. Couldn't get the second one to go. It's sent just wide. Leafs breaking out. Fang takes that on the left side. Interrupted at center by Turcotte. Canadians get the puck back. Taylor sends the puck back to Turcotte. Turcotte up the boards. Leafs knock that down. Keep it in the zone. Taylor picks it back up for the Canadians. Tries to put that high out of the board. Leafs with a chance. Oh, that hit's rising on him off the rebound. And the Leafs couldn't get it on the right side either. Kupta was just hunting for that rebound. Shot from the point. Webster got a piece of that. Canadians get the rebound, send it up the near boards. It's chipped into the Leafs zone. First one there, Schufelt. Schufelt tries to take it down low. Knocked down by Toboletsky. Canadians keep that in zone. Here's Richard. Sends that down low, just wide of the mark. Schufelt down low for Dollywall. Dollywall trying to jam it in near side, and the whistle's going to go as Belinek reaches out and holds the puck against the net, creating the whistle with 4:56 left in the second period. Draw will be near side in the Leaf zone. Both teams getting full changes in. Richard, he's been good in the face-off dot. He won another one for the Canadians here. Shot from the point by West, hits a stick, goes over the net, picked up behind the net by Richard in front, point blank, Heck, and it rolls off. The puck wasn't flat. Not a great shot there by Heck. He was in a great spot for it, though. Sharkey breaks up the centering pass back in the Canadian zone, moves it up the ice, chip to the outside. Leafs keep it in the zone. Leafs on the backside. There's a shot. Webster couldn't get there. And then Leafs score with 4:31 left in the second period to bring their tally up to 2. Still 5-2 for the Canadians, but the Leafs creating the turnover in the Canadian zone, eventually jamming one past the United Sport and Cycle goaltender. Ready to go at center here. That goal coming with 4:31 left in the second period. Canadians enter the Leafs zone. Yamniak drop pass for Hoare. He was tied up. But puck's put up. Yamniak steals it, sends it over to the near side for Hoare. Hoare picks that up, waiting for it. He's going to jam that to the far side. Jacob Hoare still in possession. Back to the point for Frostad. Frostad with a shot chipped in front. It's tipped down into the near corner. Thorvaldson puts that back to the point for Morris. Morris sends that back down. In front, Yamniak with it. Yamniak trying to get that to Hoare. It's knocked down. Morris is going to take a shot now. Blocker saved by Belinek. And then puck set back to the line. Frostad keeps it alive for the Canadians in the zone. Fang uses the boards, gets that out to Smith. Smith in transition moves it for the Leafs. Oh, comes across, and that's broken up in the zone there by Morris. Great stop there by the Canadians' Demon. Puck in the Leafs zone. Yamniak putting the pressure on behind the net. Comes loose for Hoare. Now it goes back. Fang moves it over to the near corner. They're going to battle for it. Yamniak there first. Puts it back to the point for Ulrich. Ulrich, right side for Frostad. Frostad puts it right on net. Belinek makes the save, covers up the rebound before the Hunting Canadians forward can come on the attack. 3:20 left in the second period. It's 5-2 for the Canadians. We have the face-off far side in the Leafs zone. Sahara setting up against Brinkman. Puck's dropped. Canadians win it. Turcotte puts that down low. Enrique Gomez centering pass right in front of the crease. And Belinek able to find that loose puck, covering up with 3:13 left in the second period. Draw the far side, the Leaf zone. Leafs win it, have it behind their own net, contested by Burnett, picked up by Brinkman. Brinkman centering past Sivillar-Jan. He's bumped in the corner. Puck up for grabs in the Canadians' zone. Centering pass, nobody there for the Leafs. Enriquez Gomez tries to move it out the far side. That's stopped by Topolinitsky. Now comes out to center. Leading the charge, Sahara. Pass to the right side. Oh, and Burnett stuffed by Belinek. Puck still available. Goes to the far corner. Sahara takes it. Rolls off the check. Puts it back to the point for Turcotte. It's tipped. And it rolls out of the zone back into the Canadian side of the ice. Webster sets it up for Turcotte. Turcotte with it. Off the boards. Read by Fang. Fang comes in high. Shot on Webster. And Webster takes that off the chest and hangs onto it with 2:23 left in the second period. Face off far side in the Canadian zone. Leafs won it. Canadians jam that out to the point. Second attempt gets it all the way out to center now. Picking up the puck. Zin Zilaus. Leafs put that puck deep into the Canadian zone. Contest to 4 on the near boards. Wheeled around to the far side. Leafs keep it in the Canadian zone. Picked up by West. West spins in the corner. Put to the near side to Eagle. Eagle gets that up to Schufeld, who tips that into the neutral zone. Leafs had it for a second. Canadians get it back. Here's a quick shot by Burnett. That hits the stick, goes above the net. Put in front by Dollywall, and the Leafs clear that away. Zinzalaus moves that up into the right side of the Canadian zone. Turned over, and Eagle has that. Puts that up the middle. Received by Burnett. It's Schufeld. In front for Dollywall. Dollywall had it hop off his stick. He returns it back to the point. Splits the D, so the puck's going to end up back in the Canadian zone. Webster out to play it. Sets it up for Morris. Morris wheels around to the far side. Stretch pass up to Richard. Richard enters the Leaf zone, comes to the outside. Richard in front for Sharky. Sharky had his stick lifted. Leafs move it to the far side. We're under a minute in the second period. Arm of the ref is up, and it looks like Heck will be into the box, probably for holding, called with 53 seconds left in the second period. So number 11 for the Canadians, 2-minute minor for holding. 53 seconds left in the second period. We'll have a Maple Leaf power play, and the draw will be far side in the Canadian zone. Leafs win the faceoff. Put down low behind the Canadians' net. That's intercepted by the Canadians. Put to the outside. Leafs with it now. Looking for that centering pass. He hangs on to it. Put back to number 8. There's a high shot. Oh, and that goes in. Webster couldn't see it. He's trying to fight around the screen in front. Great positioning there by the Leafs forward. And they score on the power play with 34 seconds left in the second period. We'll reset at center here. And the Leafs able to put 2 in the back of the net in the second period here. Puck in the Leafs zone. Ulrich sends it into the near corner. Yamniak in there. Receives the hit. Gets the puck over to Hoare. Hoare with it. Up high for Turcotte, who sends that down low into the Leafs zone. Yamniak comes over to the near side. Zizalowski puts that to the first far side. Hoare knocks that down. Turcotte with it. Turcotte in front, wanted to drive the net. The buzzer goes and respectfully hangs on. So, after the first period, it was 2-1 for the Canadians. Going at the finish of the second here, it's 5-3. Canadians able to put 3 into the back of the net, matched nearly by the Leafs 2. And that's where we stand when we come back for the third period here. We'll let our sponsors here have a word as the Zamboni does its work during the second intermission. Thanks for tuning in, folks. We'll see you right back here after our break. Good afternoon, folks. Welcome back to Bill Huinter Arena in Edmonton, Alberta. Teams just coming back to the ice. We have the Canadians wearing the red jerseys, up 5-3 on MLAC wearing the whites. Shots on goal as we just before we get started in the third period here, 36-16 in favor of the Canadians. Two of the, I think two. Oh, no, wait. The latest goal for the Leafs coming on the power play. Here we go. Puck's dropped. And we are in it on the third period. Canadians coming out of their own zone. Lucas Gomez puts that down low, rolls off the boards. Belinek got the stick on that to send that down below the goal line. Leafs regain composure in their own zone. Number 6 tried to drive it deep. That was Fiend's drop. That was taken away by the Canadians D. Here's Frostad with it. Leafs turning around in the Canadian zone again. Go to the near side. Smith with it. Puts that deep. Down low for Freeboard. Freeboard trying to walk it in. Puts it off his skate. Zahara chipped it, but Freeborn gets it back. Here's Freeborn spinning around. That shot. That's over the shoulder and the crossbar. Leafs get it back in their own zone. Leafs got a low shot. That's blocked in front. Canadians recover. They're going to break out of their zone. Lucas Gomez holds that in the corner. Looks for a trailer. Thorvaldson knocks it down. There's a shot. Oh, what a great play by Enriquez Gomez. Just slow playing in the zone. Nobody came up to check him. He kept the puck on his stick and then flips it over to Eric Thorvaldson, who does the rest from there. 6-3 for the Canadians as they score early in the third period. Great job there by Santi. He just enters the zone and hangs on, waiting for the players to come onto him. When they do, he flips the puck over to Thorvaldson, who comes right off the bench in the trail position and puts the puck into the back of the net. Canadians puck in their own zone. Eagle moves it up to Thorvaldson. Couldn't get it deep. West gets the puck back at center. He tries to drive. Puck chopped off his stick. Battle for it on those near boards. Set down low. Here's Thorvaldson picking the puck up again. Spins it back to the point. Eagle's going to rip one. That is wide off to the right side. West gets that at the right point. Sends that down low. Rolls over to Thorvaldson on the far side. He wanted to get it to Hoare. That was knocked down. Hoare knocks down the pass, though. Gets it back to the point for West. And the puck chipped out. Eagle coming back for it. Leaves that for West behind the net. Oliver West gets the pass up to Yamniuk. Yamniuk up to Taylor. Taylor up the right side. Puts it deep and into the corner. Goes back, gets it himself. Chips it in front. That's cleared away by the Leafs. Dollywell steals it back for the Canadians in the zone. Goes into that far corner. Now they battle for it. Comes loose. Canadians trying to drive the slot. That is spun down. Held in the right side by Turcotte. Leafs get it back again. Pass out to center. Here they come into the zone. Didn't get far. Canadians turn up the ice. Schoenfeld coming up the right side. Pops one on net. And Belinek is going to smother that one. Hanging on with 17:01 left in the third period. Face off near side in the Leafs zone. Canadians win it. It's back to the point. Turcotte fires one on net. Kicked aside by Belinek. Canadians get the rebound back. Shot by Ulrich. That hits player. Ends up in during the neutral zone. Sorry. Canadians have it in their own zone. Ulrich puts that at the far side. Picked up by Schufelt. Schufelt's pass knocked out by the Leafs. Leafs coming back in transition. They got slowed down. Reborn tried to drive the lane. That's taken away by the Canadians. Turcotte with the loose puck coming up the right side. Gets across center and puts that deep into the Leafs zone. Leafs put that around the outside. Turned over at center. Canadians with it again. Schufelt puts it on the outside. There's a hard shot off the glove of Belenek. Schufelt picks up his rebound. Tries to spin it back to Dollywall. That's read by the Leafs. Centering pass, broken up by the Canadians, held in by Frosted, goes to the far side. Leafs get it back. They put it off the far boards. Puck rolls into the Canadian zone. Morris knocks it down, puts that out to center. Leafs coming right back in with it. Here is Smith. Nope, that's not Smith. And now Smith has the puck. Centering pass, broken up by a Heck. Puck put up the middle. Stolen by the Leafs. Comes in the near side. Vang keeps that in the zone. Sends that out into Zalowski. Over to the right side. And the puck bounces out to center. Picked up by McQuestion. McQuestion goes to the far side. Comes into the Canadian zone. Puts it deep. Right onto Webster. Webster sends to the far side. And feeling the heat of number 13, Huinter, coming on him. He elects to just hang on to the puck. Freezing play with 15:26 left in the third period. We're in the third period. Face off far side, Canadian zone. Canadians win the face off in the defensive zone. Pass from West over to Eagle. Eagle moves it up the boards to, I think that was Enriquez Gomez. Canadians still marching in the zone. Held in the line. Nope, comes out. Eagle knocks it down at center and resets. Up the middle for Burnett. Left side for Enriquez Gomez. He hangs onto it. Up to the point to Eagle. Right side for West. West is going to walk down. Low shot tipped in front. They're battling for it in front of the net. And Belenek is able to reach out, cover it up. And play will stop with 14:58 left in the third period. That was the 40th shot on goal by the Canadians in this game. Belenek doing the best she can to keep her team in it. They're down 3 as the Canadians have the puck in the Leaf zone. Here's Eagle at the point. There's a shot that hits the skate, comes over to the near boards. Goes into the corner. Enriquez Gomez tries to put up the boards again. He's bumped. Leafs get it. Can't get out of their zone now. Puck bounces out to center. Picking it up is West. West is going to take it up the left wing, get some speed. He's checked off the puck, so he just leaves it in the corner. Resets at his position. Leafs have that down low. Pass over to number 17 on the near side, Anderson. Centering pass off the mark, picked up by Turcotte by the Canadians. Thorvaldson chips that up for Hoare. Coming in with pace. That shot hits the stick, marked wide of the net. Kept in the zone by Yamniak. Puck comes up high. Fed back against the grain. He was looking for Thorvaldson, but that was cut off by the Leafs. Thorvaldson comes up to center to reset. Here's Yamniak with it. Puts that into the corner. Picked up by Anderson at the Leafs. Feeds that to the far side. Returned back to Anderson on the near corner. He feeds that out to center. Turcotte knocks that down. Leafs find it. Put it deep into the Canadian zone. Ulrich with it. Gets it up to Hoare. Hoare centers that to Yamniak. Yamniak up the right side. Coming in. Low shot. That is blocked in front. He's going to battle for it. Keeps going to the corner with it. Out-muscled by Cincellaus. Cincellaus moves that up the ice. Knocked down by Taylor. Taylor takes that in the corner for the Canadians. Moves it over to Dollywall. Dollywall has to chase that in the near corner. Leafs get a hold of it. Put up the boards. That's knocked down by the Canadians. Here's Schufelt trying to drive it into the slot. And he's knocked off the puck, which comes out the center. Leafs coming up the near side. This looks threatening. Coming in. There's a shot right on net by Savadarjan. Canadians survive that. They move it up the ice. Centering pass, and that his skate goes to the far boards. Canadians have that in its own. Morris spins around, puts that off the boards. Leafs get that back. Here they come across center with it. That's dumped deep into the zone. picked up by Frostad. Frostad moves at the outside to Morris. Morris off the boards, rolls up on the boards and ends up in the Leafs bench. And we're going to get a whistle with 12:14 left in the third period. Face-off will be far side in the Canadian zone. Richard bearing down to take the face-off. He wins another one for the Canadians. Leafs steal backward shot. Webster with the quicker save. Puck on the near side, still in the Canadian zone. Comes up high in the slot. Stolen back by the Canadians. Richard puts that off the boards to the outside. Heck goes to chase it. Heck with the backhand shot. That was blocked into the slot. Sharkey gets it. Feeds it up to Eagle. Eagle with the shot. Hits the leg in front for Richard. Richard fires it. And Belinek able to get a piece of that with the stick, knocking it into the spectator netting. And we'll get a stop with 11:43 left in the third period. Face-off will be far side in the Leafs zone. Richard, who's been money at the face-off dot this afternoon, loses one in the offensive zone. Leafs put that back to the point. Eagle keeps it in, but it bounced out to center anyway. West comes over to cover and picks up the puck. Sets up in his own zone. Oliver West had the puck chopped off his stick. Gets it off the boards. Sends it down low for Eagle. Eagles passes past Eagle. Sharkey comes down. Centering pass for Richard. Richard goes left side to Heck. Heck tries to feed that back to Eagle. And it's knocked out to center. Sharkey goes to the far side to Eagle. Eagle puts that right up the middle. It bounces past everyone. Ends up being an icing call. This time with 11:04 left in the third period. We'll have the face-off down in the Canadian zone. Shots on goal, 41-19 in favor of the Canadians. They've been all over the Leafs this afternoon. Canadians win the draw in their own zone. Ulrich over to Turcotte on the near side. Turcotte up to Burnett. Burnett centering pass look for Sahara. He lets that skip over to Enriquez Gomez. Enriquez Gomez checked in the Leafs zone. Leafs get that out to center. Battle for it on the far side. Burnett comes to take it away. Enriquez Gomez dumps that into the Leafs zone. Picked up by number 17. He puts that up the near side. Chipped into the Canadian zone. Ulrich spins that off the boards. There's a shot from the near side, easily handled by Webby. Pass behind the net. Ulrich puts that up the near side. Kept in by the Leafs. Sahara puts that out to center. And the Leafs finding their own zone. Enriquez Gomez goes to chase it down. Takes it back for the Canadians. Puts that out in front. Over. It was a nice setup there. Sahara back to Enriquez Gomez. But the puck goes over to the near side and Leafs get it back. Here they come out to center with it. Coming over the near side, handled by Veenstra. Veenstra checked into the boards by Frostad. Loose puck picked up by Thorvaldson. Thorvaldson puts it at the outside or completes it out to center. Up to Yamniuk. Yamniuk gets that into the Leafs zone, then takes a check. Puck goes loose behind the Leafs net. Yamniuk gets some pressure. Leafs skating past it. Here they come out of their own zone. Centering pass, that hits the man, goes to the far boards. Picked up by Morris, who shovels that towards the Leafs bench. Picked up by Thorvaldson, takes that into the zone. Cut off by Sinselaus. Sinselaus gets the puck up to number 18, Sivarjan. He's knocked down right in front of the Canadians bench. Canadians put the puck back into the Leafs side of the ice. Leafs, Brinkman picks up the puck. That in a stick ends up landing right in front of Yamniuk and shovels that down low. Battle for it, down below the goal, or Leafs goal. Puck comes out to the point to Frostad, puts that to the right side to Thorvaldson, slides that across the ice. Puck rolls around the boards, comes back to Thorvaldson. He gives it up to Frostad. Frostad walking it down, low shot. That's blocked. Frostad picks up the puck again. Waits for help. Gets it from Hoare. Hoare up to Thorvaldson. Back to Hoare on the right side. There's a shot. trying to use the screen in front of Melanie, but she was able to look around it, get the bearings, and swallow that puck up, getting a stop in play with 8:32 left in the third period. Still 6-3 for the Canadians as we have the draw down in the near side of the Leafs zone. Puck contested, goes into the corner. Leafs are going to come away with it. Number 12, Topolinski, tried to move that out of the zone. That's kept in by the Canadians. Schufelt working it behind the net, goes to the far corner. Off the boards, up to Eagle at the point. Eagle waits, throws it towards the net. That is just wide of the mark. Shot by West, hits a man, ends up coming back to the Canadian zone. Webster out to play. Sets it up for Eagle. Eagle goes behind his net, fighting off a check. Gets it up the near side. That's cut off by the Leafs. Sunley tries to center that, knocked down by the Canadians in front for Freeborn. Hit shot blocked. Mitchell picks it up for the Leafs. Puts it back to the point. Leafs looking good now. Here's a high shot right into Webster, and Webster is going to get that in the trapper, hanging on for a whistle with 7:47 left in the third period. Leafs not matching up with much zone time in this game, but that last one looked pretty good. They were able to move it around the outside, stepping in from the left point, and Webster making the save. Off the draw. Richard wins the puck, puts it to the near side. Leafs chop it down, keep it in the zone. Put behind the Canadians net. Ulrich puts that over to Sharkey. Sharkey backhands that. Held in at the zone by number 13, Kupta. Battle for it in the near corner. Canadians get it back. Here's Sharkey with it. Kicks it back to himself. Bang got a piece of it. Goes loose in front of the net. Ulrich's going to take that away for the Canadians. Up to the near side. Sharkey moves that up to Richard. Richard coming up the right side. Gets it up to Heck. But he had a man on his back and the puck chipped back out and into the Canadian zone. Ulrich out to play. Gets it over to Frostad. Moves that up the boards. Kept in the right side by the Leafs. Sivarjan. Canadians move that up the near side. They're in the Leaf zone. Here's Heck with the shot blocker save. Sent to the far side. Sharkey with it. Takes a bump. It gets the puck to Heck. Heck back to the point for Frostad. Frostad low shot. Hits the leg in front. Rebound goes to the near corner. Frostad tries to put that out in front. Knocked down by the Leafs. Here's Heck. Steals it back. High shot off the mask of Belinek and into the near corner. Frostad from the point. Stick save by the Leafs netminder. Heck picks up the rebound, throws it up the middle for Frostad. Frostad walking it in, hard shot off the mark, didn't miss much, trying to go high on Belinek. Leafs walking it across center. There's a shot just outside the blue line, knocked down by Webster. Webster sets it up for Frostad. Frostad evades the check from Fang, gets it for Morris. Morris moves it up the ice for Dhaliwal. Nope, that's not Dhaliwal. That's Enriquez Gomez. Enriquez Gomez dumps that into the Leaf zone. Picked up by Samsoniuk. Samsoniuk taken into the boards by the Canadians. Leafs driving it out of their own zone. Picked up on the far side by Smith and dumped into the Canadian zone. Put up the near side. Here's West. Blocking a centering pass by Vistra. Puck picked up by Eagle. Eagle gets it over to West. West goes to the outside to Enriquez Gomez. Enriquez Gomez looking for the next pass. He's going to wheel it in the zone instead. Checked off the puck into that far boards. Gets it back though. He's going to try and drive the lane now. He's tied up. Fights off the check. Gets the puck to West. West quickly over the left side to Eagle. Eagle low shot. Tipped in front and tipped out of play by, I think that is Sahara, who was posted up in front. Puck goes out of play with 5:11 left in the third period. And we'll reset far side in the Leafs zone. Face off won by the Canadians. Oh, and it's quickly in front, and Schufelt puts his second. Nope, that's not Schufelt. That was Burnett. I think that's Burnett's second of the game. And that'll make it 7-3 with 5:08 left in the third period. Quick turn of events right off the draw. And the Canadians win the face-off and quickly move the puck across the crease to the right side. Burnett tucks the row. 7-3 Canadians. As we're getting to the later stages of the third period here. Canadians win the draw. There's a shot by Eagle just outside the blue line on the left side. Rebound picked up by the Canadians. Leafs battle for it back. They're going to send it up the ice to the nearest side. West quickly moves it up to Yamniuk. Tried to chip in the zone, but it's knocked down. Yamniuk gets a second attempt to chip it in the zone. Leafs get it back. Here they break out on the far side. Leafs coming across center and into the Canadian zone. Pass to the near side. Mitchell steals it. Mitchell has Thorvaldson lift his stick, and Hoare takes it away for the Canadians. West on the near side. Back to Hoare. Hoare hangs onto it. He's going to wheel it out of the zone. Coming up the left wing. Low shot blocked. Taken away or cleaned up by number 21, Freeborn. Stolen back by the Canadians. Yamniuk driving the net, and he's knocked off the puck. Puck cleared away to the far boards. Ulrich keeps it in the zone on the far side. Comes to Yamniuk on the near side. He puts that down low, looking for Thorvaldson. Gets just past him. Thorvaldson goes into the boards, though. Pins it against the corner. Now comes loose for Dollywall. Dollywall spins behind the net. Comes over to the near side. Tried to wrap around, but holding tight to the post was Grace Belenek, and who stops the puck with 3:48 left in the third period. Draw near side in the Leaf zone. Goes into the corner. Leafs have it. Fang puts it behind the net for number 8, Zinzalaus. That puck fired down the ice, where icing will be called with 3:40 left in the third period. Face off far side in the Leafs zone. Leafs win it. They move it off the boards to the near side. It's going to come on the outside post. End up being icing. We'll have 3:34 left in the third and a draw on far side in the Leafs zone. "49 shots in the game against the Leafs, or by the Canadians. And right from the draw, another soft one ends up underneath the stick and then the glove of Belenek. That is 50 shots in the game by the Canadians. Leafs win the faceoff to move it around the near side in their own zone. That's turned around at center. Turcotte puts that back into the Leafs zone. Leafs setting up. Centering pass. Knocked down by Dollywall. Sheffield follows that up. Gets that in the corner. Leafs regain their composure. Get out to center. Turcotte finds the loose puck. He steps across center and dumps that into the Leafs zone. Picked up behind the net by Samsiak. Thrown out in front. Leafs clear it away. Leafs. Smith. Nope, not Smith. Leafs number 8. Lost the puck in the Canadian zone. Moved up the ice by Frostad. Over to Shufelt. Shufelt, low shot. Steered it away by Belenek. Puck comes up to the point to Taylor. He tries to take a shot, whiffs on it, and ends up coming out of the zone. He comes back to the Canadian zone. Gets it up the ice to Frostad. Frostad's going to come up the right side into the Leaf zone. Sharp angle shot right on to Belenek. Had the angle on that. Wasn't as sharp as I initially thought. Good rip by Frostad. Better save by Belenek. We're going to get a stop with 2:28 left in the third period. Face off near side in the Leafs zone. Canadians put it against the boards. We're going to contest for it. Teams battle for it. Canadians win it. Centering pass looking for a Heck. That skips past him. Comes over to Morris. Morris puts that down low. Gets it to Richard. Richard back to the point for Frostad. It bounces up on him, but he's able to keep it in. Puts it into the opposite corner. Now it comes up high. Leafs coming away with it. Fang. Not Fang. Beanstraw carries that into the Canadian zone. Cycles behind the net, has it on the near side, turns, fires it against Webster, and Webster with the toe save keeps that out. Puck behind the net on the far side. Frostad battling, doing a great job. Keep the low, comes out in front. 2, 3 saves by Webster there. Nuggets come to the back out. McQuestion comes in and steps in, fires it high on the Canadiens goaltender, who makes the stop and hangs on with 1:37 left in the third period. Great series of shots there by the Leafs. Even better saves by Webster and net for the Canadiens. And he'll eventually get the stop. And when we drop the puck again, there'll be 1:37 left in the third. Piss off near side in the Canadian zone. Zahar moves that over to Turcotte, bounces against the boards. Leafs put that around the boards down low. Picked up on the far side by number 18, Sivararjan. Canadians, Turcotte moves there on the near side. Leafs cut that off, put on net, and Webster's going to scoop that off the ice. Stopping play with 1:20 left in the third. Draw will be near side in the Canadian zone. Tahara wins it, gets it over to Turcotte. Turcotte behind the net. Frolic bounces off, and Sivararjan makes it. Comes in front for Brinkman, but he couldn't get the shot off. That's blocked by the Canadians. Lucas Gomez out to center, over to Burnett on the right side. And we're going to have an offside call as Burnett was just stopped at the line. And we'll have a face-off near side, just outside of the Leafs zone with 1:06 left in the third period. Face-off won by the Canadians. Leafs take it back in their own zone. Pass to the far side, stopped by Eagle. We're under a minute to go in the game. Canadians with another chance. Oh, and they rip it home. Thorvaldson sets up Hoare, and Hoare finishes the job, making it 8-3 for the Canadians in this game. Maple Leafs did score first in this game, but ever since then it's been all Canadians. Leafs able to chip away in the second period and the third, in the second, but haven't done much in the third. 40 seconds left in the game as the Leafs break out of their own zone. Pass to the far side, cut off by Eagle. Eagle picks it up in his own zone, leaves that in the corner. Goes back for it. Leafs get it back. Here's the Leafs. Smith battling for it. Takes that down low. Feeds that into the slot. That's broken up by Hoare. Hoare gets it to Yamniak. Yamniak over to Thorvaldson. Thorvaldson looking for a trailer. Yamniak shovels that down. Looking for Eagle on the far side. There's a rip by Hoare. Picked up by the Canadians. Trying to feed it back to Eagle again. Sending Eagle for a goal. Trying to set him up in the slot. But he had a couple chances. It's not going to work out in his favor. And the buzzer goes on the third period here. Canadians, 6 wins in a row. What a November they're having. And as the backup goaltender for tonight would remind me, Power Black, my son says, hey, this streak started in October. Which it did, October 31st against the Fort Sask Rangers. No, Fort Sask was... yeah. There you go. Yep, that's when the streak started, on the 31st, Halloween. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Shots on goal at the end of the game, 53-27 in favor of the Canadians. Leafs handed another loss. They have quite the loss streak going. It's always tough to be on those. Next time the Canadians are on the ice. see here. Is it the 27th? Nope, not the 27th. 29th? Oh, yeah, 29th against Fort McMurray. I'm tied up during that game. I'm going to be calling it for Easton's team. We'll see if we can get Huddle to finally work in our favor. But no promises. We'll see you at the next one, folks, whenever I can make it next. Hope you're having a great day and a great game for the Canadians.